Hello everybody, today we're going to be ranking every Volundr in Record of Ragnarok from weakest to strongest, and this is my personal opinion, so some of these rankings are going to be a little bit arguable, but these are mine, so just let me explain. For those new to the series, a Volundr is the sacred bond between a human fighter and a Valkyrie where they unite souls through common destiny. This is called Volundr. This transformation allows the Valkyrie to turn into a divine weapon perfectly suited for their human partner, allowing mortals to harm and even kill the gods they're fighting. The Valkyrie's names aren't just for show, they actually relate to their abilities and the forms that they take. We're going to be ranking all 9 Volundrs that appeared in Record of Ragnarok, the anime so far. Let's get right into it. First on the list, we have Reigenleif, Adam's Knuckle Dusters. Starting from the absolute bottom, we have Reigenleif, the 7th Valkyrie, whose name means Daughter of the Gods, or it can also be written as Power Trace. She became a pair of brass knuckles for Adam in round 2 of Record of Ragnarok. Now here's the thing, Adam was so absurdly, hilariously overpowered with his Eyes of the Lord that let him copy any divine move from Zeus that Reigenleif might as well have been a fashion accessory. Like, Adam was copying the GFOC, the Godfather of the Cosmos' move for move, and the Knuckles were just kind of there for moral support. He was kicking, he was hitting with his other arm. The Knuckle Dusters really weren't doing much other than maybe adding a little bit more damage. But honestly, Adam could have been wearing oven mitts or something else and the fight would have been exactly the same. The only thing that was carrying that fight was his eyes. Even when Adam died, Rick, the father of humanity, it wasn't because the weapon failed. His body was the one that gave out, and the Knuckle Dusters were fine. We still don't know what her ability was. Honestly, it's not that Reigenleif is weak by any chance, we just didn't get a chance to actually see her do anything, and Adam is just so absurdly overpowered that she just became irrelevant. Sorry. Next one on the list is Buddha's 6-round staff and Zerofuku's Great Nirvana Sword Zero. Okay, this one's going to be a little bit tricky because Buddha didn't use a traditional Valkyrie Volundr, but he did fight for humanity in round 6 with a 6-round staff that is a divine weapon that could transform based on his emotions. We saw it become a giant axe, a shield, a scythe, and also a club. Even though he had all these weapons, its versatility is endless. The weapon itself is very useless without his ability to see the future. Buddha's ability to see the souls and predict attacks before they happen was what carried this fight. Without future vision, the 6-round staff would have been a disaster. Imagine trying to switch weapons mid-fight based on your feelings while your opponent is trying to delete you. Oh no, I'm feeling anxious or scared. Time for the shield. Oh, now I'm angry. This person just insulted. Oh shoot, it's turning into an axe. Like, you get destroyed. And when Buddha actually did pull out the shield, Hajin just broke right through it. The shield couldn't even do its one job. Buddha later fused with Zerofuku, the Volundr, and he created the Great Nirvana Sword Zero, which was way better because it's stronger, it was more durable, but I don't think the sword itself had anything very special about it other than being an absurdly strong sword and being able to tank a lot of hits and being able to slice through Hajin like he was paper. Functionally, I think Buddha's weapons were okay, but it's kinda mid compared to the next couple of ones. The next one I put is Lu Bu's Sky Piercer. Now, round 1 gave us Randgriz, the 4th Valkyrie sister, whose name literally translates to Shield Breaker. And let me tell you, she lived up to that name. Randgriz's special ability was that she could destroy any defense. She let Lu Bu shatter Thor's Ayan Napier, the strongest armor in the Norse mythology, the gauntlets that kept Thor from accidentally crushing Mjolnir with his bare hands. Breaking those was a massive flex that every god in the audience started to lose their minds over. And when combined with Lu Bu's Sky Piercer, which went blow for blow with Mjolnir, arguably the strongest treasure in Valhalla, that is absolutely insane. Lu Bu and Randgriz were out here trading hits with the literal god of thunder's legendary hammer, and for a while, it looked like he might have actually won. But here's why Randgriz is only number 7. She's a little bit of a one-trick pony. She was strong, yes. She was able to tank a lot of hits, sure. But she broke near the end, and also, her weapon's only ability was that she could pierce through any defense, which is really, really strong. But the next couple of Valkyries, I believe, are actually a lot stronger. The next one on the list is Hrist. Now, when I said before that the next couple of ones will be ridiculously strong in comparison, this one's not the one. The 2nd Valkyrie sister, Hrist, whose name literally translates to the Trembling One, is unique. She's the only Valkyrie with a split personality and the only one whose name has two meanings. And that's not just a flavor text, it's her entire ability. Hrist transformed into the Mono Shizo, an oversized katana, but when Poseidon shattered it mid-fight, which should have been game over, Hrist performs a Volundr. She transforms into a pair of swords, a katana and a wakizashi. This mid-battle adaptation completely changed Kojo's fighting style and let him overwhelm Poseidon. That's clutch as hell, but let's be honest, Kojo also was carrying that fight. His 1000 image defense, his ability to scan and predict what the opponent was going to do next, his centuries of accumulated skill, that's the reason that he won. That's why this sword is kind of put a bit lower. Hrist gave him quality weapons, gave him a second chance, and made a game-changing transformation that mattered the most and saved it. But she wasn't the MVP, but still, that Volundr ability and the fact she gave him such a great sword was what solidifies her in at least the top couple. Adaptability for me is very strong. The next one I'm going to put here is Hlökk, the 11th Valkyrie sister, whose name means Saber Rattler. She was forced to partner with Jack the Ripper, and honestly, she created possibly the most broken ability in this anime, if you're smart. The pair of gloves that turned anything that Jack touched into a divine weapon. Knives, divine. Cobblestones, divine. A clock, divine. A building, divine. Even Jack's blood became a weapon. That's horrifying and genius. Jack turned the entire city of London into his arsenal. He orchestrated one of the most strategically, psychological, and mind game heavy fights in Record of Ragnarok. It was beautiful, it was amazing, and it showed just how great of a strategist he is. But here's the catch. I think you had to be Jack the Ripper to be using this kind of ability. You need to be both very fit, very agile, very strong, but you also needed to have meticulous planning, environmental awareness, and basically 200 IQ. In a straight brawl with no prep time, this Volundr is borderline useless. It's an S tier in the right hands and the right setting, but it's kinda situational, and that's why it's number 5. Incredible power with a massive asterisk attached. Next one is Geirölul, King Leonidas' Lambada shield, the 5th Valkyrie, Geirölul, whose name means spear charger, partnered with Leonidas in round 9. And despite her name being about spears, she became a damn shield. Because I guess it's irony, I guess, I don't know. But what the shield was that, what I'm so proud of for that shield was that it was the strongest shield in human history. It blocked arrows from Apollo. It was able to do damage to Apollo. It blocked Apollo's incredible light speed arrows. And she was out here basically tanking hits that went through a wall, basically. And not to mention, her adaptability is amazing. She's able to change the battle just by adding a couple things. She was able to make the shield throwable. She was able to create a mace. She was able to do a lot of stuff with that shield, making her one of the most adaptable weapons in Record of Ragnarok. The problem? Apollo eventually broke through using Agarothoxis, and in a death tournament, losing does matter. But in pure defensive capability, this shield might be unmatched. It's the ultimate you shall not pass weapon. It fits the King of Spartan, and also she's best girl. So yeah. The next one is Alvitr, and I don't think anyone here is gonna argue with me on this one. The next one is Alvitr, and I don't think anyone here is gonna argue with me on this one. Qinshi Huang's divine van braces and his Gojin sword was made by the sister Alvitr, whose name means host guard or defender of the army, depending on what you want to see it as. She was fighting with Qinshi Huang in round 7, and she's borderline game-breaking. Alvitr started off as the divine fan braces, basically armor that didn't just protect, it had the ability to maximize Qinshi Huang's martial arts prowess, and it was able to help him tank hits from the King of Helheim. And the reason I put it so up here is that he was fighting the King of Helheim, and she was able to block a bunch of attacks while she was in divine fan braces. And when Qinshi Huang was pushed to his limits by Hades, Alvitr recasted the Volundr and became a sword, which took away some of the defensive ability, but it changed right into offense, and it was amazing. It's extremely versatile, and not only that, but the sword was able to not only stop and tank an attack from Icor Eos, it was also able to hold and control the power when Qinshi Huang used Force of the Phoenix against Hades. that sword being able to control that much power and basically use Force of the Phoenix was considered impossible by a bunch of the other swordsmen, and yet Alvitr was able to do it. I honestly think she maximized everything he could do and adapted when he needed her most. Top 3 easily. Now this one's going to be the most heavily disputed one, considering that they did lose. But Thrud, Raiden Tameemon's Mawashi of flesh and bone, the third sister of Thrud, the strongest and biggest of the Valkyrie, whose name is literally just strength of power, partnered with the sumo legend himself, Tameemon Raiden in round 5. And holy, what a partnership. Thrud didn't become a weapon, she became this Mawashi sumo belt, and that let Raiden completely manipulate every muscle in his body. This combined with the fact that Raiden basically had infinitely growing muscles that were going to destroy his body, this unleashed possibly the most powerful human in all of human history. And with Thrud's ability, Raiden could shift his muscles to specific parts of his body, increasing his strength or his defense depending on what he needed. He ripped through 3 of Shiva, the god of destruction's 4 arms. He pushed the god of destruction to his absolute limit. The fight was so close, it could have honestly gone either way. Thrud's ability didn't just enhance Raiden, it redefined what his body could do. She unlocked his full unrestricted potential for the first time in his life, and it was amazing to see just how much she helped him fight, because without her, he straight up would have lost that fight. Thrud is a legendary Valkyrie, top 2, also an amazing wife. Honestly, Raiden, you chose great, not even close in my opinion. But of course, there's one that tops it all in the anime ranking. Something that, if straight up he didn't have this, he would have lost because he's not even a fighter. Number 1, we have Göndul, the 9th Valkyrie sister, whose name translates to the magic wielder, wand wielder, and she partnered with the greatest scientist in human history, Nikola Tesla, in round 8. And what they created was nothing short of a revolution. Okay, I'm not gonna make that joke again. But basically, they created the Super Automaton Beta, which it was basically just a fully mechanized battlesuit designed by Tesla and the greatest scientist in human history. This suit gave him Plasma Pulse Punch, which is just electrically charged punches that allowed him to disperse Tesla particles in the air that helped him later in the fight. Created an electromagnetic field called the Gematria Zone, and inside the Gematria Zone, he was able to use the anti-gravity technology, allowing him to fly. And I feel a little bit underused because the ability to be able to move from 0 to 100 and also basically fly, which means that you can move in whatever stance, is extremely overpowered. Not to mention the strongest thing, Tesla Warp. Tesla Warp allowed Nikola Tesla to transport instantaneously to any position inside the Gematria Zone, as long as he synced up the Tesla particles with himself. Teleportation is impossible to predict, and I honestly believe that Tesla did get hurt in this fight. But Göndul herself is the most powerful, versatile, most advanced Volundr in possibly the entire series. Göndul completely carried Tesla in that fight, and she really redefined what a Volundr could be. Yes, Tesla did lose round 8. That's tragic. But sheer power, innovation, and the potential of Super Automaton B stands alone. This is what happens when you combine the genius invention with a Valkyrie whose name literally means magic wielder. Once again, Tesla really did get hurt in this fight. How did Beelzebub block an unblockable pincer attack? Yeah. So there you have it, every Volundr ranked from weakest to strongest. Honestly, some of the rankings are very subjective. Some Volunds shine because of their wielders, others because of unique abilities, and I think that it could go a lot of ways depending on who is ranking them. But what do you think? Did I get that right? Did I get completely off base? Should Thrud be number 1? Is Lambada overrated? Is Lambada underrated? Just talk in the comments about it. And if you enjoyed this, please don't like, subscribe, and hit that bell. And also go watch Record of Ragnarok, the anime. It's amazing. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.